All right, welcome back, everybody. We are back to episode 4 of our Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 walkthrough slash tips and tricks gameplay. When we last left off in episode 3, Bojana had tasked us with going out, getting some fresh air, cleaning up a little bit. We also grabbed the gear off of the bandit that Hans killed in the night, got equipped with all of that stuff, ate some food and things like that. So now Bojana has tasked us with going to one, bury the body of the bandit laying out in her front yard, and two, going to grab some chamomile and some sage to brew a chamomile decoction for Sir Han. So let's go ahead, let's dive back in. So you can see now that we have some quests on our HUD up in the compass in the top center of the screen. We can see that we have some quest markers. So we're supposed to grab, and if I go to my J button on my keyboard, if you're using keyboard and mouse, it'll take me into my journal. We need to grab a spade so that we can bury the dead guy. And then we need to go pick some sage and pick some chamomile. You can use A and D to scroll through the different tabs in the menu here. If I scroll all the way over to the map, I can now use my scroll wheel on my mouse to scroll in and out. We can see our couple of waypoints that are on our map. We've got the grab a spade, and then over here we're going to go pick some sage and some chamomile. So I'm going to grab that spade. Let's go ahead and bury this guy first. I'm going to grab the spade here. Anytime you need to dig a hole or dig up something, you're going to need a spade. So a spade is something good to keep in your inventory at all times. So you don't want to get rid of that if you can help it. I think Bojana might make us give her spade back to her at the end of the prologue here. So we'll need to grab a spade somewhere later on. Growler, what's the matter, buddy? Hey, I'm trying to talk here, dude. All right. So, anyways, we're gonna go ahead. We're gonna grab the body. Growler is not happy. All right. So again, once I grab that body, you can see up in the compass, I've now got the marker telling me where I need to go bury this body. Bojana wanted us to go bury him down by the stream in some soft ground. This little piggy is, I'm pretty sure, belongs to Bojana. He just kind of wanders around here. He's not easily spooked, which tells me that he is kind of domesticated. As I had talked about before, I like to play my playthroughs of RPGs in a fashion that is kind of consistent with what I would do if I were in the situation. Again, I am a vegetarian, so I'm not going to be killing animals like boars or deers or whatever. There are going to be some encounters with wolves that we're going to have to kill. A lot of the times I'll just kind of avoid the wolves so I don't have to kill them. I'm just that guy. The reason I'm a vegetarian is that I'm an animal lover, and I'm for treating animals with respect and things like that. I'm not that super ardent, sort of like what a lot of vegans can be, where they think everybody should be a vegan or a vegetarian. I'm fine if you want to eat meat. That's your call. I don't have a problem with people eating meat. I just personally choose not to. So I'm not one of those holier than thou vegetarians. But anyways, so I won't be killing animals. I'll be eating, only things that I would eat with my vegetarian diet. So I'm going to drop him here. There's a couple of different spots. There's one here. There's another here, and I think there's another over here. You can bury him wherever you choose. I'm just going to go ahead and dig. This animation is not normal. I think this is a result of one of my mods that I have installed. Typically, it's more of a progressive dig, but whatever, something's going on now, and as soon as Henry sinks his shovel into the ground, the hole appears, so that's not normal. All right, we're going to go ahead and grab the guy. Don't have to be real precise. Just kind of get him at least partly in that hole, and we'll be able to bury him. Hold E to bury. All right.
May the earth rest lightly on you, you bastard. I hope you find peace. And don't come out to haunt anyone.
Well said, Henry. All right. So, as Bojana had told us, once we buried the body, we want to come and wash ourselves again to get the stink of death off of us. We're going to do that. Remember, that's critical to your charisma stat. The more dirty you are, the more your charisma will go down. So my next icon is up here. It's where I need to go and pick some herbs. And Bojana told it was back behind her house.
Damn, my shoulder still hurts like hell. Maybe now it'll tell me when it's gonna rain.
All right. Something very important to keep in mind here. Belladonna, we're going to find chamomile and sage, but out here behind Bojana's house is one of the few places around the world of KCD2 where belladonna grows. Belladonna is a key ingredient for some very important potions you're going to want to brew. It is the main ingredient in Savior Schnapps. It's also something that is used in a new potion to KCD2 that we're going to talk about as soon as we get our alchemy skill up to a certain level. It's called Fox Potion. And then it's also used in one of the strongest poisons that you can make. So whenever you can rustle up some belladonna, you want to do that. There are 2 key points out here going towards her garden up here that you can find belladonna. I want to point out, belladonna is one of the trickier ones. You can notice that this is saying I'm looking at belladonna. Belladonna has these pinkish purplish buds on it, or fruit. Okay, there is a plant that looks very similar to belladonna. Oh, sorry, that is actual belladonna. Where is it? There's one over here that's not belladonna. This one right here. Okay, so you can see it's kind of got red leaves on it. Looks a little like belladonna, but it's not belladonna. So you have to be looking for those actual berries on the plant. So we found a couple over there. There's a couple more here. Because I did do some herb picking in that first part when we were by the pond with our band of merry men, and then also out in front of Bojana's, I'm now picking up like little patches of herbs when I find them. So you can see I picked up 2 there. If I go to my materials, I've now got 5 belladonna. So these herbs, they do regrow. I think it takes like probably 3 to 4 days, in-game days, for it to regrow. So if you're ever needing belladonna, you can always come back to Bojana's after a few days have passed, and there will be right here by this wood fence and this one here, and then right over there, that set that I picked up out here. So now I think we've got like 7 belladonna, 6. So we've got 6 belladonna in total. You're gonna want to, whenever you find it, you're gonna want to pick that belladonna. It's super helpful. We're gonna need it a lot. All right, so I'm also gonna pick some comfrey. Nettle is something that is used in both making of Savior Schnapps as well as your healing potion that we had talked about before. Excuse me, your marigold decoction. So nettle is something that is very prolific in the game. It's found oftentimes like growing at the bases of houses on the outside, near fence lines, things like that. It's more of kind of a weed. So nothing that you really need to worry about a whole lot. So there we go. That's sage. That's what sage looks like. That kind of tall flowering sort of thing, purple flower. So I'm gonna pick all the sage that I can get. I only needed 1 sage and 2 chamomile to brew this chamomile decoction that Bojana wants. But I'm actually gonna grab all of it that I can.
The sooner Hans gets that remedy, the better.
All right, sorry, talking over Henry. We want to whenever we can, just like brew a whole bunch of whatever decoction that we have the materials for to up our alchemy skill and get some perk points going with our alchemy. So there'll be a point coming up here where I'm going to off camera do a bunch of brewing of chamomile decoction to get that alchemy skill up. So I'm just going to grab a but that's plenty. I've got you can see here I've got 63 chamomile, 35 sage. So we've got a bunch that we'll be able to do kind of a brewing session to get our alchemy skill up here a little bit later. Something to make note of, there will be a point coming up here where you'll have a little bit of free time while we're at Bojena's. She does have that alchemy bench. You can actually brew a bunch of stuff in there to get your skill up, but you won't gather skill points until you're out of the prologue. So I probably won't do any brewing right now to try to get it up, since I won't be able to show you the skill points that you get out of it. But just know that it is something we're going to do a lot. Like I said, alchemy is a really big thing in this game. If you're sleeping on alchemy, you're really putting yourself at a disadvantage, in my
What's
opinion.
that dog making
All right,
such a
so we
fuss
can hear
about?
that Growler's barking.
Could something have
Something's
happened at
going on down
Bojena's?
here at Bojena's. This is one of the places that I am going to take advantage of the speech, the points that I put into speech. You know, reading through all of the dialogue with the people that we could over by the pond and all of that stuff. It's going to come in handy here with this interaction that's coming up. So this is that first place that putting those points into speech is going to come in handy for us.
You! What do you want? Come here and tell me who you are, or I'll drum it out of you.
Now, sometimes when you have a person approach you, you won't get the Eve to speak to them. You'll get this dialogue option of reply by pressing Q. And I'm going to go ahead and choose
Tell me what you want here,
the option
or you'll
to
see.
try to make peace here. I'm going to say, hey, we'll have a nice chat, be calm. If I chose 2, you'll see, then that's basically starting combat. I could beat these guys.
So, before we
Nope.
talking.
Okay,
Lord
accidentally
Von
pulled out
Berghoff.
my sword there trying to push buttons. But anyways, like I said, I could probably beat these guys if I wanted to, have the advantage of maybe gaining a little bit of skill in combat. But short sword's not what I want to build skill in. Combat with your short sword is going to give you more of that that dexterity stat that works for short swords. I'm going to be focusing more on long swords or two-handed swords. So I don't really want to gather the skill for it. So we're going to take advantage of our points that we put into speech, or the experience that we've gathered in speech here, and deal with these guys peacefully. The added advantage is if you kill them, it's 2 more bodies you have to go bury by the river, and it's just kind of more time spent in that. So I'm going to just go the diplomatic route here.
Sent us to find the renegades who ambushed some knights' company down by the pond yesterday. A couple of them fled and are hiding out here in the rocks. So tell me who you are and what you know about it.
All right, so we do not want to choose that top option. We're messengers and we were ambushed. That's going to key these guys into the fact that we're the guys they're looking for, right? So we don't want to choose that option. We're going to choose the option of, hey, you don't look like von Berghoff's men.
You're from Lord von Berghoff. You don't look like it.
Kulva! Watch your tongue with me, boy. When I say we're from von Berghoff, then we're from fucking von Berghoff. Who else would we be from anyway? You can talk to me or talk to Cold Steel. Who the hell are you? And what are you doing here?
All right, so here's another one of those places where we can choose which one of our skills we want to use to try to talk this through with them. Again, we don't want to use that top option. That's going to pinpoint us as the people they're looking for. You can see that all 3 of my stats that I have the option to use here, speech, intimidation, and that is survival, are the same. They're all 6. But that doesn't always mean that the potential to pass the skill check is exactly the same. We have put more into speech than those others. And so I'm going to use that option for speech to try to pass this skill check. Something that's very cool. Pay attention. When you're trying to do one of the options where it says that Henry's going to be lying, if you choose that option and Henry goes into something that sounds very viable, He's going to, that's going to be a clue that you're passing the skill check. If he goes into some ramble that doesn't make a whole lot of sense and sounds kind of stupid, you failed the skill check. It's something it's a really cool detail that I love about KCD2 that the developers have thrown in there different dialogue for whether you pass or fail the skill check.
I'm Pavel, and I'm here to help Bozhena. I don't know anything about any attack, but I met some of von Burgov's men in the woods too. They had his shields and Waffenrocks. They were looking for some cutthroats. I gave them directions here, so you can join them once they get here.
Fuck.
What's the matter?
Nothing. Fuck it. Just tell them we'll wait
So
for
clearly
them in
they're
the
not von
tavern
Burgov's
jail.
men.
All right?
And they don't want to hang around for von Burgov's men to show up if what I had said was really true. All right, I'm going to put my sword back away.
That's all I need. Getting
Poor
mixed up in
Bozhena.
all sorts of nonsense.
Just living
at
her life
my
out here in
age.
the woods, and we come bursting in and bring a whole bunch
they
of
hurt
shit
you?
to her doorstep.
No, but I think they would have if you hadn't come along.
Sorry. I reckon it was one of those who followed us yesterday.
Look here. I almost got slaughtered twice in one day on account of you two. God be praised that my Pavlena wasn't here. Heaven knows what they'd have done to her. So, I'd like to know why all this is happening. Your friend was talking in a delirium in the night, saying you was knights. But if you two are knights, then I'm the Queen of Sheba.
So yeah, we don't really look the part of knights now. We're all dressed up in crappy garb. But yes, Bozhena, you certainly do deserve to know the truth.
Well, I must bow to your ladyship.
And Henry
Sir
can be a
Hans
little
is
bit
the
of a
young lord of
smartass from
Leipzig
time
and
to time.
Perkstein. I'm Henry of Skalitz, son of Sir Radzig Kobyla, and I'm his bodyguard. We were heading to Trotsky to deliver a message from Sir Hanish of Leiper and Margrave Jobst to Lord von Burgov. But we were ambushed by bandits yesterday down by the pond, and you already know the rest. And as God is my witness, we're no bandits. I swear to you, I'm thankful to you for saving us. And I'm sorry it caused you trouble.
Well, you sound sincere, so I'll take your word for it. I hope I won't live to regret it.
You won't. I promise you.
Promises are made to be broken, but thank you for dealing with them. I was sure they'd see through you. You thought up quite a story. It was a story, right?
Oh, I didn't meet anyone up top, but they swallowed it all right. What about Sir Hans? How's he doing?
He's holding up, I'd say. I treated his wounds, and I'll change his bandages shortly. But what he needs most now is that remedy. Have you got everything for it?
Here. Chamomile and sage, like you said.
Excellent. Now to brew the potion from them. I gave you two the last of my supply during the night. But fresh is best anyways. It's a shame my daughter Pavlena ain't back yet. She'd get it done in a jiffy. But we'll just have to manage without her. But you can do it too. It ain't nothing hard. My eyes are so bad, it'd take me all day. But at least I can tell you how to go about it.
I love the added detail of you can see the kind of cloudiness in Bozhena's eyes, which go along with her kind of losing her eyesight. Nice little touch, I think. Yeah, I will go ahead and brew that remedy for you.
All right, I'll try.
So we don't really have a whole lot of skill in alchemy just yet, so I'm not going to use that option. I'm just going to say that I don't know
I'm
how.
not sure how to do it.
I told you, I'll explain everything. I have a book here with the recipe, but it'll be better if I tell you. I know it by heart.
I can read as well as any man, if that's what you mean.
My word. Maybe you really are a noble son.
A skill we learned in
I'll take the book just in
KCD1,
case, but
reading.
if you give me some advice, I'd be grateful.
Of course. Everything we need is in the hut. Let's get to it.
All right, so we're going to get a little tutorial on alchemy here. Henry has a book that keeps all of his recipes. We only have the
First, go to
one
the
right now.
recipe book. Now find the recipe for chamomile decoction and remember what you have to do. Then get back to the bench and we'll start.
So if I had more than one recipe in here, I could use A and D on my keyboard or left and right on the D-pad, I believe, to move through my book to different potions. But we can see here for chamomile decoction, on the bottom of the left-hand page, we're going to need wine, 2 handfuls of chamomile, a handful of sage. We're going to put the 2 handfuls of chamomile in the pot, boil them for 1 turn, grind the sage, add it to the cauldron, and then we're going to just pour it or distill it. Or pour it.
If
Distilling
you've
is a
read the
different
recipe,
thing.
get back
So
to the
yeah, we're going to
bench.
go ahead and we're going to press R to go to the bench. And Bojena's going to walk us through
All
it
right.
here.
First, you have to pour the right base into the cauldron. Choose the right pitcher from the shelf on the left, according to the recipe.
Okay, so there's 4 bases you can start any of your potions with. We need to start with wine, so I'm going to pour some wine in the pot.
So, what did you pour in there?
Wine.
Wine, of course. Like it says in the book.
Glad to hear it. Now try moving the cauldron over the flame, so you know how it looks when it starts boiling a bit.
Okay, so in the alchemy at the alchemy bench here, you can point at things and press E to do them. Some things have a keyboard shortcut for it, so I could look at the pot here and I could just press E to lower it. Or if I weren't looking at directly at the pot, I can just press X and that'll lower that pot.
Hear that bubbling?
Notice
It's
it.
boiling.
You're gonna wait. It
Remember
really
that
isn't boiling
well.
until we see
For
that
most
roiling
potions,
and
you
the
just
smoke
have to
start to
simmer
come
the
up from it.
herbs for a bit. But sometimes you need to get it good and hot.
There's
So
about
you
a
have
2
to
or
get
3
the
second
fire
delay.
blazing under the cauldron using the bellows. Try fanning it with the bellows to get it boiling.
Now I'm going to go ahead and use the bellows. Just take note that you only want to use the bellows if the recipe specifically tells you to use the bellows.
To keep it going, you mustn't stop with the bellows. If you want to cool it down quick, take it off the flames.
Okay, so I
Try it.
can
Move the
again press
cauldron
X
up.
to move it up off of the flame.
Good. Now we'll start with the brewing. Get all the herbs that you need
Okay.
ready.
So we're going to press
Run
Tab to open up our
Put them there on the shelf,
ingredients that we have
so
on
you've
us.
got them at hand.
So we need the chamomile decoction. I can either left click on it and then choose E to select it, or I can double click it. Okay. So we're going to do our chamomile and our sage. Notice that there is a stat for how fresh the ingredients are. Once the ingredients get down to below 50 in freshness, they're going to potentially, or not potentially, they
So where's
will
the chamomile
cause
and
you
sage?
to create a lower grade of potion. So you always want to use fresh ingredients. There's also an option that you can use dried ingredients that are fine. They're treated as 100% freshness, but fresh herbs are always better than dried herbs. You need to have at least one fresh item in your ingredients. If there are 3 items, you could use 2 dried. As long as you use one of those as
Why
a
haven't
fresh
you prepared
ingredient,
them yet?
you're going to get the better outcome for your potion. So we've got our chamomile and our sage. You can see that it's put them up here on the shelf.
Let's get to it. First, throw 2 handfuls of chamomile into the cauldron.
So I'm going to look at the chamomile bag. I'm going to throw that first handful in the pot. I need 2 handfuls. Go back to the bag. Throw that in.
Before you put it on the flame, turn the sand glass so you know how long you're brewing it. It's got to be exact. Every grain of sand counts.
So Bojena is not lying here. You do need to be as precise as you can. You've got probably, I would say, like a 1 or a 2 second grace period built in here. But you want to try to be as close on your timing of things as you can to get the best quality of brew for your potion. So you can look at the hourglass and click E to turn it over, or you can see over in the bottom right, I can also just press F to turn that over.
When the sand has flowed out, that's 1 turn. That's how long you have to boil the chamomile. Move the cauldron to the fire and wait until it starts bubbling. Then turn the sand glass. As soon as the sand runs out, take the cauldron off the fire again.
So notice that she said you want to lower your pot, wait for it to boil, and then turn over your hourglass. You don't want to just lower the pot and turn your hourglass. You're not going to boil it long enough because it takes it about 2 seconds or so for it to actually start to boil once you lower it over the fire. And that varies depending on whether you've had the pot over the fire recently. It'll start to boil quicker. If it's your first time, yeah, I know, Bojan. If it's your first time coming into into the alchemy bench, it's going to take a little longer for it to boil the first time. So we're going to go ahead and lower it. I'm going to hover my finger over the F key to turn that hourglass over. As soon as I see it boil, okay, it didn't go right away, but I think I'm pretty good on my timing there. I think we're all right. So again, hovering over X, as soon as the hourglass runs out, take the cauldron off of the flame.
All right. Now, take 1 handful of sage, grind it with a mortar and pestle, and drop it in the cauldron.
Okay, so I'm going to grab a handful of sage. We need to grind it, so we're going to put it in the mortar. You can either go and point at the pestle, or you can just stay pointed at the mortar and press E to go ahead and start the grind.
Have you ground it?
Yep, and
Good.
throw it in the pot.
Now, drop it in the cauldron. You don't have to boil it anymore.
Okay.
All you have to do now is decant it. Get a phial and pour it in.
So as the message says on the left there's 2 ways to finish out your potion. Either decanting it, just pouring it out, or distilling it. So to decant it, we're just going to grab a phial and we're going to pour it in. If we needed to distill it, we would grab a phial and we would click on the distiller here and it would distill it. So we just need to pour it. I'm going to long press E to pour it into my phial.
Now, let's see what you've brewed.
And I should come up with 3 strong chamomile decoctions if I did it right. And I did. So if your timing is a little off with how long you brew an item, or if one of your items is not fresh, you would end up with a chamomile decoction. Not strong, just a base chamomile decoction. If you goofed it up a little worse, you could end up with a weak chamomile decoction. If you really botched it up, like you only added 1 handful of chamomile instead of 2, then you might end up with a failed potion. So you always want to follow the recipe as close as you can, particularly with fresh items, and how long you're boiling how long that turn is, using your hourglass. I'm going to show you some techniques where we'll be able to brew some things without using the hourglass. We'll show those when we get to those brews. But for right now, we're just going to go ahead and take this chamomile decoction out to Bojana. We're going to leave the bench by long pressing escape. We'll grab our book of recipes.
Here it is.
Well, now, judging by the smell, I'd say you brewed it perfectly. Thanks for your help, Henry.
Happy to help.
This should help Hans get better. I'll take care of it now.
All right. Is there anything else I can do to help?
I reckon you've done all you could. What you need now is a bit of rest. Go and get a good sleep. That works wonders.
All right. Hungry, I could eat a horse.
So we've gotten hungry again. You can see our nourishment is down to 49. Henry will not hesitate to let you know when he's hungry. So we're going to come over to our food here. We've got some bread left. I'm going to eat that. I may have actually eaten the bread in the last episode. I had a glitch with my microphone, and I've had to re-record this part of the episode, episode 4. But that got us to 68. I can also have some cheese here. Again, pressing A, I can slide over and I can see how much nourishment that's going to give me. So 26, I can take that. I'm going to go ahead and fill up and eat that cheese as well. All right. What I'm going to do here is I just want to show you kind of one of the little shortcut techniques. Again, I'm going to gain alchemy um, uh, experience, but if I were to do enough, I still wouldn't get the perk points just yet because we're still in the prologue. But I wanted to show you how you can actually speed up the chamomile decoction brewing here, which is just a slight speed up of it. So again, we're going to grab our wine. And when you're having to brew, if you're wanting to brew a bunch of potions to sell and make some money, or you want to stockpile a certain potion, it comes in handy to have just little shortcuts to kind of shortcut the brewing process. So here, we're going to go ahead, we're going to get our chamomile and our sage out on the shelf. Okay. I need to put my 2 handfuls of chamomile in the pot. Now remember, the next step, what we're going to do is we're going to boil this for 1 turn, and then we're going to need to grind some sage. So just to speed the process up a little bit, I'm going to lower my pot. As soon as I see it start to boil, I'm going to flip my hourglass. Might have been a little bit early there, but I think we're okay. Now I can grab that handful of sage, and I can just kind of get it prepped by putting it in the mortar, and then raise my pot once the hourglass drains. Grind my sage. So, doesn't save a great deal of time, but every little bit counts when you're trying to brew like 30 potions or something like that. So I go ahead and I can throw it in my in the kettle here. Don't need to boil anymore. I just need to decant it. I'm going to grab a file, long press while looking at the cauldron, and I should get 3 strong chamomile decoctions. Perfect. All right, so again, just a smidge of a shortcut there, but like I said, every little bit counts when you're doing mass boils or brews. And we're going to show you some other shortcuts for other potions and things a little later on here. All right, if I go to J, I can see that the only thing on my list of to-dos is to get some sleep until the morning. Nothing really that we can do out here in the meantime. I suppose if I wanted to wander, it'll let you wander a little ways out here into the woods. I could maybe go look for some different herbs or something like that if I really wanted to. Let's see if I'm dirty. I'm not. If you're grayed out, that just means you're clean enough. You don't need to clean. Again, keep an eye on that. It has an effect on your charisma. Bojena's over here giving that chamomile decoction to Hans. All right, so beds. When you look at a bed, it's going to tell you whether or not you own that bed. Or not. They say owning. I say whether or not it's your bed. If it's your bed, we'll see that we get that sleep and save option. So that tells me this is our bed. If I sleep here, it's going to do 3 things. It's going to increase my energy. It's going to heal me. And if it's my bed, it's going to save for me. If it were not my bed, I would still get my energy back. I would still heal, but it would not save the game. The sit option, if you sit on the bed, the reason you might want to sit on your bed is if you had some books to read. So if I go sit down, open up my menu, go to my books. If I had any books, I could read books. When you're sitting in a comfortable spot, like a bed or a nice chair or something like that, you can read faster. Certain books that you're going to find around the world, you want to try to read every book, and you don't have to actually read the books. But if you find a book, if you pick up a book laying around in the world, and it's just a normal book, it's like some history of Bohemia or something like that. You just have to flip through the pages until you get to the last page, close it. That'll give you credit for having read that book, and that's going to increase. We haven't been into the skills page here. So let's go ahead and let's talk just a little bit about the player page within your inventory here. So we can see here, I've got my skill level, my main skill level of 6. We've got strength, agility, vitality, speech. We'll talk about these all as we run into them in a little more detail. But basically, strength is what governs, if I go over to the right here, it's what governs things like your unarmed combat. It also is used in long swords or two-handed swords, your ability to wield them effectively. Agility is something used for short swords, like the sword that we have now. It's classified as a short sword. Agility plays into that. Vitality is your stamina, okay, how much stamina you have. Speech, we've talked about that. We know what that is. Blacksmith's Prestige. This is something that's going to come into play in the second half of the game during one of the DLCs. And I think it's a fantastic DLC. We're going to definitely go through that. Down here, you can just see your raw numbers for each of those. Over on the skill page, you can see some of the skills that you can gather. You can see that we're up to skill level 8 in alchemy. Once we get out of the prologue, it'll show you down here how many more skill points you need to get a perk point. Generally, it's between 5 and 10 levels for a perk point, depending on the different skills. But we'll go into that stuff, skill points, once we earn some skill points, and we'll talk about those in more detail. But you've got alchemy, craftsmanship, that's things like blacksmithing, your crafting of potions. Actually, not crafting a potion. It's blacksmithing and repairing weapons. Sorry, repairing your weapons, repairing your armor, repairing your clothing, things like that. Yes, there is a drinking skill. It's nice to build that up a bit, but you don't want to go too far with your drinking because alcoholism is a thing in the game, and you can get to a point where you will actually start to have withdrawal symptoms if you don't drink enough during the day. So you want to be cautious with that. Horsemanship, of course, pretty clear what that is. Houndmaster, that is, our interactions with Mutt, who we're going to find a little bit later here. Scholarship, again, that's reading books, talking about scholarly things to other NPCs and things like that. Very helpful skill to build up. Stealth, that's just your ability to kind of blend in, not be seen by people. Survival, that's our picking herbs, doing things like that. Processing your catches if you hunt food, drying, smoking, cooking, things like that. And then thievery is predominantly for your ability to lockpick, and then also do a skill called a takedown, where you sneak up behind somebody and you knock them out. So those are the primary skills. And then, of course, you've got combat skills. Warfare is just your general fighting skill. And then you've got individual skills with different implements, swords, heavy weapons like maces, things like that, pole arms, unarmed fighting, and then bows and crossbows. And eventually, at this time in history, they were learning how to make very rudimentary guns. So that plays into your marksmanship as well. With each kind of weapon, you can learn combos with those weapons. These combos are helpful against lower level NPCs that you might fight. You'll find that you can only use them sort of sporadically against a more skilled player, because you'll do your first move of your combo and they'll just block and riposte and break up your string for your combo. So we'll talk about that as we get into some fights. But you've got combos with long swords, one-handed swords, sword and shield, heavy weapon and shield, pole arms, and then unarmed fighting. The buffs side here will show you I'm sitting in a spot that is comfortable for reading. So I've got a buff to my reading skill. I talked about those books that you just have to flip through. There are also other special books in the game that are skill books. So a book on hunting will give you skill in your survival skill. A book on stealth will give you increased experience in stealth, things like that. So in a reading spot, when you're reading a skill book, you have to actually study it for a certain amount of time. The more comfortable the spot you're sitting in, the faster you'll be able to study those books. We can also see that I'm tired. The more tired you get, you might start to get some slight debuffs in your character. You can see that our strength and agility and speech are down because we're so tired right now. So definitely something you need to pay attention to in the game. Make sure that you are, your energy's up, you're nourished, and you're at full health. Otherwise, you're going to get some debuffs in certain areas. Reputation is going to show your reputation in different areas with different kinds of people, things like that. And then the statistics tab shows you some really cool statistics, how long you've been playing, how far you've traveled on foot, how far you've walked, how far you've run, etc., etc. There's a stat in here that's going to come in handy for a very, very important perk in this game. We'll talk about that when we get to it. Crafting is just going to show you any recipes you have for blacksmithing swords, long swords, axes, horseshoes, things like that. Also, for your potions that you might brew, poisons that you're going to brew, and then the herbs is basically what they call an herbarium. It kind of gives you a description of the herbs, what their primary characteristics are, and things like that. Codex, if you're the kind of person that in Skyrim you love to read all the books and get all the lore and stuff like that, this is the spot for you. Extensive amount of information in here about game mechanics, the actual history of the time. You can see here information on armor and how it was crafted and who wore what kind of armor and things like that. Very, very extensive library in the codex here of information. If you're into that stuff, I definitely recommend you check it out. I won't be doing a lot of that during this playthrough, but just know that it's there. It can be very helpful for you as you play. And then back to the map menu. All right, so we're going to go ahead. Once we're sitting, now I can just single click E to sleep and save. It's going to bring up our clock and say, how long do you want to sleep? You can just kind of click on a spot on the wheel, or you can use A and D to spin it around. You can generally only sleep a certain amount of time. It won't let you sleep for 24 hours. It's not going to do very much. But what you'll notice here is that the longer I sleep, the more, so this is the comfort of my bed, okay? The more comfortable the bed is, the faster you'll increase your health. And, sorry, this is the quality of the bed. This is my how sleepy I am, right? So we can see that I only need to sleep until 10 o'clock to get to be 100 health. As I sleep, my hunger will go down, right? So basically, though, we're going to go ahead and sleep for the full night anyways, because Bojana said to get a good night's sleep, we're going to just go ahead and tell it we're going to sleep until 5 a.m. Hit E, and we'll start our sleep cycle. And as is very common with Henry, we're going to be kind of woken in the middle of the night with some nightmares.
A sword such as this will bring honor to...
This is just some more exposition, going back and getting those who didn't play the first game a little more familiar with what happened in the first game, and also giving those of us that have played before, had played the first game again, just some nice look back at how we got to where we're at. So this is Sir Radzig. This is Henry's actual dad, his birth father or biological father. And that's the sword that Henry and his stepdad were creating for him, and that Ishvan Toth ended up stealing from us. Well, he got it from the big brute that beat us up back in Skalitz. But Ishvan Toth has that sword, and it's kind of, the sword is kind of the MacGuffin of both of these games, KCD1 and KCD2.
its bearer.
True, Sir Radzig. If I'd have had its like back in Nicopolis, things would have worked out differently.
Where's my fucking sword?
And I found it. Everything I take now will be mine, and I plan to take everything.
Rot in hell!
Why would I miss one sword?
Because it's the last one my father forged, and I promised him I'd deliver it to you.
Stronger dog fucks the bitches, and war is a nasty business.
Where's my fucking sword?
You know what? I think I'll keep it. As a memento.
This isn't over. I'll find you!
Yeah!
Don't disappoint me.
Wake up, Henry. It's past sunrise.
Henry's mom's voice.
Hallelujah. I thought you'd never wake. Were you having a nightmare?
This is Pavlena, Božena's daughter.
Bad dreams. You must be Pavlena, right?
That's right. I came in the evening while you were asleep. Ma told me what happened to you. Then I helped Ma take care of your friend that night?
Oh, Hans. He's alive. How is he?
Have no fear. He's alive, all right. Maybe too alive. Ma knows what she's doing. And that's the truth. I reckon she could bring the dead back to life. She said she dosed you with the strongest remedies she knows. And it looks like they did the trick. On that other fella for sure. Since he came to this morning, he hasn't stopped talking.
Sounds like Hans.
That sounds like him, all right.
And what about you? How do you feel?
Better than yesterday.
Definitely better than yesterday. Thanks.
That's good. Ma will be glad. But I heard you yelling in your sleep and went to check on you. Bad dreams?
I dreamt of Istvan Toth, a villainous, murderous whoreson who stole my sword. The last memento I had of my father, and I swore to get that sword back and avenge my parents.
Oh, that oath must be serious if it even torments you in your sleep. Dreams shouldn't be taken lightly. They can have real meaning, however hard they are to understand. What strikes you as the most important part of your dream?
All right, so again, as I said, the sword is kind of the MacGuffin of both KCD1 and KCD2. MacGuffin is basically a plot item that sort of drives the story forward, but isn't like essentially it's not like a primary focal point of everything, but it's just the thing that kind of keeps driving things forward. That's my understanding of a MacGuffin anyways. Some of you might have a better definition of that out there, but I'm just going to go ahead and say, yeah, the sword. The sword is the driving motivation.
The last thing Pa forged before they murdered him. It might sound strange, but I feel his soul won't find peace until that sword is back in our family.
It doesn't sound strange at all. And swords are a symbol of kings. It could mean power and responsibility, or war and ruin. After all, a sword has two edges, and it depends who's wielding it.
I'm actually a little more of this opinion, but we're going to play nice.
Pavlena. I never thought of looking at it like that. It's a lot to think about.
You're welcome. But remember, it's only my reading. The only one who can really understand you is you yourself.
Very true.
I expect you're right. So in the end, all the hard work will be on me. But this is all too much heavy thinking at once. Right now, what I need more is a little sunshine and fresh air.
Aye, that's the best remedy for many ailments. And a full stomach will help too. Breakfast is on the table, and I've got something else for you too. Come along, and we must save Ma from the clutches of his lordship.
All right. So now we do have access to our perk points. So essentially the game is going to give us a few to work with here to kind of get back into the swing of things. So we've got a main level here. You can see the ones that are coming up that we're going to have access to. I can now see over here. I'm at level 6. I'm 62% of the way through the next level for this. But I do have two options for perks. So I can choose Charming Man, which is if you gain reputation, the increase will be 10% higher. Or kind of the converse. A lot of perks in KCD and KCD2, there's kind of like two sides of it. The other side of the Charming Man is the opportunist. If you lose reputation, the drop will be 10% less. I tend to play good Henry here, so hopefully I'll be increasing my reputation with people, not decreasing it as much. So I'm going to go ahead and take that one that gives me an extra 10% on my reputation as that increases. Okay, I can close that back out. You can see in this column, the little star that tells you which of the skills you have a perk point available in. So we've been working on that speech. We're going to get paid off by getting a perk point here. One option is polish wares. So when selling weapons, armor, or clothing that are in near perfect condition, so 98 to 100%, you'll gain 10% more money from them. Honestly, most of the stuff I sell, I don't have it up to that level. When you get into a fight and you take, the spoils from them, more often than not, their stuff's going to be pretty beat up. You can, if you've got some repair kits, you can, get them back up. But I feel like it's almost a break even in the cost benefit analysis of things. The little extra money you make off of repairing them really just is offset by the cost of the repair kit. So I don't tend to worry so much about that. So I'm not going to take that one. Silver Tongue is we get a +4 speech bonus when haggling. So when we're talking to merchants, making it easier to negotiate better prices. I'm going to take that one. I want to get better prices from merchants. Okay. So now we can move over to the next tab. We're on the primary stats here. We're going to move to secondary. We're going to move to the skills. We can see, okay, we got a whole bunch of skill points here. So the alchemy that we've done has given us a couple of perks here. We've got the art of preservation. So raw food and herbs you have in your inventory will spoil 50% slower. That's a pretty handy one. I think we'll probably take that, but let's look at the others. Enthusiast. While brewing potions, your energy will slowly replenish and your nourishment will not decrease. That can be handy too if you're going into a long brewing session, which I will do. But I will more than likely cut those out during the recording here, so you don't have to sit through them. But that can be very helpful too. That way you can sit there, go through a really long brewing session. Your energy doesn't deplete and your nourishment doesn't decrease. So we'll definitely be getting that, whether we get it right now or not. I'm not sure. We're definitely going to get this one. We've got two. This one is potion seller. So you can sell potions that you brew for 30% more. A very, very viable way of making some money early in the game is to just go gather herbs and brew up a whole bunch of potions and go sell them. So we're definitely going to take that one. Okay. Secret of Equilibrium. The brewing process will be more tolerant for minor errors, making it easier to achieve those higher quality potions. I've got my brewing pretty well down. I don't need that extra boost to make sure that I get the higher quality, so I won't take that one. Secret of Matter. Every time you successfully brew a potion, you will get one extra potion of the same quality. All right, we're going to save that art of preservation for later. We're going to get this one. So now when we brew, as long as we brew correctly, we're going to get 4 potions instead of 3. So we're going to grab that one. All right, craftsmanship. We've got 3 options. So razor sharp. If you sharpen a weapon on a grindstone to the condition of 98% or higher, the weapon will gain a bonus effect that increases the slashing damage by 10%. This effect will remain as long as the weapon's condition stays above 75%. Super handy. That's probably the one we're going to take, but let's look at the other ones. If you wear boots repaired by yourself, sprinting will cost you 25% less stamina. That's also a very handy one, but we're going to get razor sharp first. Well-fitted armor and clothing that you repair yourself with an armorer's kit will make less noise when worn. This helps out with your stealth stuff, right? So all 3 of these are ones we're definitely going to get, but the one I want to get first is that razor sharp. It's going to make our weapons do more damage when we sharpen them at a sharpening stone ourselves. All right, drinking. This is probably due to her having given us a Lethean potion. It's very heavy in alcohol. It's got an alcohol base. And then also she might have given us something else. But anyway, so we got some drinking here. Nightcap. If you were meant to get a hangover while sleeping, now you won't. Plus, when you're drunk, all the beds are 10% more comfortable. Super handy here. Hangovers suck. If you drink too much, you wake up, you're going to have a hangover, you're going to be debuffed. So this one basically stops that from happening. We're definitely going to take that one. The other one is St. Vivian's Grace. Under the influence of alcohol, you'll be less likely to be injured by falling from a height because the patron saint of drinkers has a protective hand over you. I don't know why I would be wandering around near the cliffs drunk, so I don't find that one to be super helpful. We're definitely going to take Nightcap. All right, horsemanship. I guess we got that from the ride to by the pond and all of that stuff. First one, night training. Melee attacks from horseback will cost you 15% less stamina and will be harder for enemies to unseat you. I don't find the combat from horseback to be super efficient. I definitely prefer to fight on the ground with my feet on the ground, so I'm not going to take that one. Saddler, repairs with a cobbler's kit will be 20% more effective. Additionally, because you know pouches and satchels well, you have a +1 bonus on the thievery skill if you pickpocket. Definitely going to be helpful. We're going to take the Saddler. All right, scholarship. Only have one option here. Cushion. The buff from sitting has increased. Comfort. The comfort effect of 50%. Okay, can't read. The buff from sitting has an increased comfort effect of 50%, so you can study faster. Very good buff to have. We're going to grab that, especially since it's the only option. All right, stealth. We already, in the first game, you had to learn the stealth kill perk or whatever. It gives that to you automatically along with the takedown skill, which is to sneak up behind somebody, knock them out. We've got the option of Bushman. You'll make 50% less noise when moving in bushes. Or, one way or another, if an opponent defends against your attempt to stun or kill them, they will suffer penalties to their stats. This will make them easier for you to defeat in a conventional combat scenario. The effect lasts for 20 seconds. I don't find this one to be super helpful. I'm not going to try to take somebody down unless my takedown skills are pretty good already anyways. Bushman can come in handy if you're trying to sneak around some enemies or something. So we'll go ahead and grab that Bushman. All right, survival. On the Poacher's Trail, you can sell herbs, game, hides, and trophies at double the price. So combine that with that perk that we got from our alchemy. We're going to be able to sell, actually just herbs, not potions. So never mind. But we gather so many herbs that I am definitely going to be selling herbs sometimes. So I think this is probably the one that we'll take. Wanderer, the quality of beds increases for you the higher your skill level is, but at most, this perk will improve the quality of a bed to 50%. On higher quality beds, the perk will have no effect. So, not super handy. I'm going to go ahead and grab the On the Poacher's Trail. All right, we're all done there. Combat, we did gain a Warfare perk. So we can do head protection. If you're wearing a helmet, blows to the head will cost 20% less. Or Steadfast, blocks will cost you 20% less stamina, and your shield and weapon will wear down 20% slower when blocking. You can block with the shield. You can also block with your weapon, but those blocks do degrade your weapon. So this is a good one to have. We don't even have a helmet just yet. We're definitely going to get head protection at some point here, but for now, we're going to take Steadfast. And then we've got one in marksmanship. I'm not sure how we got that. But regardless, crippling shot. If you deal damage to an enemy with a ranged weapon, their stamina will recover more slowly and their combat ability will be reduced. Super handy, right? If you come up on some bandits that don't see you, you fire off a shot, you hit a guy, it's going to debuff his fighting ability, so that can be super helpful. Steady aim. If you don't move for 2 seconds or more while aiming, your stamina will drain 20% slower and your shot will be 15% stronger. Very, very good perk to have. We're going to get crippling shot at some point, but for now, I'm going to take that steady aim. All right, that's basically it. You earn combos when you gain skill when fighting with a certain weapon or whatever. So, all right, we got all of our perks there. very good bunch of perks that we got to kind of get it set. Let's go ahead. Let's see, how hungry am I? 80%. I'm going to go ahead and take one little nosh from the pot. You're usually pretty safe at 80%. 85%, you're starting to get into danger territory that you might overeat. Yeah, so you can see that that gave us 15. Again, I think it's mostly consistent around 15, but some pots, I swear, give you more than 15 nourishment, and you can go into that overeating. So you just want to be a little cautious with it.
Bequeathed his estates to me. Look who's finally up! Henry!
Hans, what's
Good
up, buddy?
morning,
Good to see
Henry.
you healthy.
You have no idea how glad I am to see you. Come join our banquet in the midst of these exquisite woods.
I'm glad to see you too. I see you're in a surprisingly good mood for someone who was at death's door yesterday.
It's all the more cause for merrymaking. Even this water now tastes like the finest wine.
Of course. I did bring it all the way from the spring.
And for that, I am in your debt, fair maid. And I'm grateful to you too, Henry. Bojena told me what happened here yesterday. That's the third time you've saved my life. I suppose I'll have to give you some estate or something.
The third time? What in God's name happened the first 2 times?
Now, Henry, don't make her beg. Tell this good maiden of your heroic deed.
So yeah, we'll go with it's one or the other here. We'll go with the shortened version. So in the first story, Hans and Henry gets punished by being made Sir Hans's squire, and there's sent Hans wants to go out hunting. So we go out hunting with him. Hans runs off chasing after a boar. He's going to tell a little bit of the story here, but he gets captured by some humans and we had to rescue him.
Once, when we were out hunting, Hans was taken captive by humans, but with a bit of luck, I managed to rescue him.
Humans?
So yeah, as far as Henry's concerned now, they are just mercenaries. They're just doing their job. They were hired by Sigismund, but in Henry's opinion, they're brutal cutthroats. They're the ones that raised his village and killed his mom and dad.
You haven't come across them? They're savages from the Hungarian lands, the core of Sigismund's army. Who knows what heathen gods they pray to? They hold nothing sacred. They pillage, rape, and murder. They razed my hometown of Skalitz to the ground. Slaughtered everyone.
I told you about them, though. The fellas in the tavern in Zheleyov were saying there's some foreigners like that camping in the rocks down by the pond.
What?
It's just what I heard.
Whoa, that's all we need. I hope they don't turn up here. What could us two do alone against them?
What could they want from us? But if they did come here to rob us, I'd shoot enough arrows into them to make them think twice. But the thing I want to know is, how did it end up with young Sir Hans?
Well, as I said, they took him captive. I rescued him.
Why the modesty? You got them. Maybe a stroke of luck, but as we know, audentes
Fortuna juvat.
See now, you've finally learned it.
What?
It's just this kind of motto of ours. Fortune favors the bold.
Maybe they're really telling the truth about who they are. Who but a lord or a priest could know Latin? And priests they ain't. I can tell.
And as I recall, you already got a pony from Uncle Hanush as a reward for saving me.
Pebbles.
Your pebbles. So I'll save myself a few groschen.
But you never gave me anything for Talmberg.
For Talmberg? What was that about then?
So yeah, we assaulted Talmberg. Ishvan Toth took control of it, and Hans took an arrow, and we had to pull him back down to safety. So again, we'll go with the cut it short story.
Hans was badly wounded during a night raid on Talmberg Castle, and I had to carry him out of the battle on my back, so he wouldn't fall into enemy hands.
Gracious! Raiding a castle? That must be pretty wild, eh?
Indeed it was. Arrows raining down, outnumbered by hordes of foes mercilessly charging at us from all sides. I'm truly indebted to Henry for getting me out of that fix.
But I reckon you paid off part of your debt the other day, sir.
Yeah, how did you get rid of that
True enough.
cutthroat?
Hey, how did you manage to get the best of that cutthroat the other night when you hauled me here?
To be honest, by a stroke of luck. We were fighting outside, but that fucker got a hold of his falchion and let me have it in the guts. I thought I was done for, but I groped around and found a pail and whacked him with it with the last of my strength. And luckily, I hit him a nice crack right on the noggin. Can't remember a thing after that.
My word. Fortune really does favour you. You chose your motto well.
Once we get back to Ratai, I'll have it inscribed on my shield.
Do tell. What else did the two of you encounter?
Quite a lot of things. But I'm afraid we don't have much time for storytelling right now. We came here on an important mission, and we cannot afford to dally any longer. We have to get to Trotsky as soon as we can. How far is it from here?
Not far. Once you climb the hill above Zheleov, you'll see the castle.
All right. I think we should get on our way as soon as possible.
I'll prepare a bit of food for you, for your journey.
Bozhena, I don't know how to thank you for all this.
Ah, but I do. Once we've settled our business with von Bergov, I shall reward you as befits a knight. You have my word of honor.
Now you've got me curious. I never got a knight's word before.
For a start, you can leave me that spade. We
Yep,
can't
there
manage
goes the
without
spade.
it.
Yes, of course. And thanks for everything you've done, Bozhena.
I have something for you, Henry. Ma had trouble because of you, but I know you didn't do it on purpose, and you protected her when she needed it. I want to thank you for that. Take this potion.
Nice.
It will help when
We'll
you're
always
in
take more
danger
Savior Schnapp.
or don't know which way to turn. Have a little sip each time, and it'll save you a lot of trouble. You'll see. It's not all that hard to brew. With a bit of practice, you
Oh,
can
and I think
manage
she
it
gives us
yourself.
the potion
Thanks,
for it.
Pavlina.
Yeah.
This'll come in handy.
No doubt.
Or the recipe.
But
for
we'd
the
better get
potion.
going now.
Hans is right. We're very glad we met you. And we're obliged to you for your help and hospitality. God bless you.
And you too, sirs.
As Henry says, may God bless you for your generosity and your healing arts.
All right, I'm
And
going to
you
go
have
ahead and grab
rightfully
these
earned the gratitude
apple
of the House of
nuns here.
Lipa for all time. If you
That
should
loaf
ever
of
find yourself
bread.
in need, the doors of Perkstein shall always be open to
Thank you.
I'll take the bacon.
sir.
It might last until we find
I'm
mud.
not sure I could find the way to Perkstein. Hopefully we'll never need to take up your offer. Sorry for coming late, Ma. I got held up
All
in
right.
Troskovitz.
So we're going to talk to Hans here.
you. Nothing against the hospitality of the good women folk here, but I want to get to Trotsky Castle right away.
Yeah, what about the rest
What
of our
about
company?
the rest of our company? Could someone else have got away?
You saw for yourself. They didn't stand a chance. But you're right, we shouldn't just leave it at that. As soon as we get to Trotsky, I'll make sure they get a proper Christian burial and their souls find peace.
And when we get back to Ratai, we'll have a mass served for them.
You're right. They were damned good lads. I'd known Oates since childhood. Damn it.
Yeah, we got to find
What
mud.
about Mutt? He's bound to be looking for us, and we can't just abandon him.
Henry, I like your dog, but that's not our priority right now.
He saved my skin.
So did I. First Trotsky, von Bergov and the mission, then we can look for your dog.
All right. But the moment things are sorted out, I'll go looking for him.
I'd expect no less of you. So, should we get going?
Hold on a bit. Before we hit the road, there's something you should know. I have a hunch that one of that band that ambushed us at the pond was Istvan Toth.
Toth? Are you yanking my pizzle? He's long since
There's a
over
lot
the
of
hills
pizzle
far
yanking
away.
throughout the game. I definitely saw him. Second time through. First time I played, I did not notice him.
I tell you,
Yeah, we
I
did see
saw him there.
Of course, Henry. I know you have accounts to settle with him, but that's nonsense. Toth is in Sigismund's service and is harassing his opponent. And Otto von Bergov is one of Sigismund's allies. So Toth's hardly going to attack his people. It was dark. God knows what you saw.
I saw him, the bastard, and I'll get him.
Yes, we'll surely get him one day. I promise you. And your sword, too. But I don't think either of them are around here.
But I see you haven't wasted any time and found yourself a weapon to replace that sword. That's good. You never know when you might need it around here.
Come on, let's get going. Your mind will turn to better things along the way.
All right, so a little goodbye scene with the ladies. And this will be about where we're going to call this episode here once I can stop and save. But Jenna, man, she's a gem. Really bailed us out. I think we've got a cut scene we might have to watch through here before I can save. Yeah, I can't save. So, yeah, officially through the introduction, or the prologue. Props to Warhorse Studios. If you're not familiar, started out as a very small studio, produced KCD1. Didn't take off great. It did have the original release of KCD1 was quite buggy. I tried playing it when it very first came out, and it was buggy to the point where some of the main quests would fail consistently and things. But once they got their patches going and everything and got it patched up, fantastic game. Love it. I think they did fairly well off of KCD1 and were able to put out an even better product here with KCD2. Big props to Warhorse Studios. They're based in the Czech Republic, which is modern day Bohemia. Trotsky Castle there. The town of Troskowitz. Hans, ever the hound dog. I love the sense of humor that the developers have. Really cool. Alright, I think I can save here. Nope. Alright, gotta watch this cutscene as well.
Oh, I hope they've got a good physician at this castle. Or at least a barber. I mean, that old crone got me on my feet. But I don't believe much in herbal remedies. You can't beat an educated man of medicine.
And I can't wait to sleep in a proper bed.
And some wine!
Oh, fucking hell.
Oh, it's closed. Open up! I bear an urgent message for your liege lord. Hear me! Open the gate! I am a messenger from Sahanash of Lipa.
Fucking shit! Fuck! You Cunts! Do you know who I am? No, we fucking don't!
I am Sir Hans Capon of Perkstein, heir to Ratai.
Now, look here, you filthy beggar! I'm not here for your amusement, so get your stinking, ragged asses out of here on the double. The pair of you!
What's all this about? Why don't you send those beggars packing?
I did, sir. They say they're messengers.
I am Sir Hans Capon of Perkstein, envoy.
I heard. Nevertheless, I doubt Sir Hanush would send two vagabonds covered in excrement as emissaries.
Well,
apart from
your
which,
boys
Sir
covered
Hans
us
Capon
in
is
said
dead.
excrement.
We found his body by the pond. His company was ambushed by outlaws, and they were slaughtered to the last man.
Yes, they ambushed us, but we managed to get away.
Sir, we met your Captain Thomas on our way. He can testify to who we are. He saw our message and its seal.
How terribly unfortunate you are. The captain's company was also ambushed by outlaws. The captain barely escaped with his life and has been delirious for 3 days.
So the one guy that
And even
can
if he did confirm
identify
your
us
story,
is
I am
laid
under
up and
strict
can't
orders to
help us
admit
out.
no strangers to the castle.
Sir, there's a horseman approaching in King Sigismund's colours.
Ah, now that's what a messenger looks like. Count yourselves lucky that I don't have time to waste on you. Be gone!
You'll learn to hate that guy,
Getting in, whether you
as I
like
do.
it or not. Get your shitty hands off me!
No, wait. Wait, one moment!
Things not going so well for
What
Hans and Henry, especially
the
for
fuck
Hans. Covered
was
in
that?
crap.
So now what?
There's only one thing we can do.
To the tavern. All right. Still can't say. Son of a.
Have you two got any groschen?
What do you take me for, wench?
For someone who stinks like a badger.
Look, we've had a tough couple of days, so we'd like a bit of peace and quiet, a beer, and a bite to eat.
Unless you want to share a bowl of gruel, you're going to need more coin than this.
Just bring the best you have, and we'll settle later.
As the gentleman wishes.
Well, she's not far off. We look like a couple of beggars, and we stink even worse.
What the fuck was all that? The gate? You try to talk to them and get shit poured on your head.
Different lands, different customs.
God's holy britches.
I expect they've had trouble with beggars at the castle, so they act without thinking.
Oh, really? I'd never have figured that out. I'd rather hear some cunning plan how to get out of this shit. Huh?
Yeah, we're gonna have to wash and change.
The first thing we have to do is get ourselves into decent shape. Have a good scrub, get some better clothes. Then they might believe we're actually messengers.
That's all very well, except we can't even pay our bill here. Never mind a visit to the baths and the tailor.
We'll earn some.
So we'll earn some.
Earn?
I'm not afraid of work. And we're gonna need every groschen we can get.
And how long will it take for you to earn a few groschen? And where will you find a decent tailor? Before we get ourselves sorted out, Sigismund will be sitting on the throne in Prague.
So what do you suggest? Going back to Ratai?
To Ratai? You just don't get it, do you? We can't go crawling back like this. We'd be a laughing stock.
Yeah, what you mean? We got
a
ambushed.
laughing stock? We were outnumbered by a gang of bandits.
Yes, and how come they got away with it? Because we camped at that fucking pond. We've got no message, no coin, nothing but our ragged arses.
Chin up. We'll sort it out somehow, and everything will be fine again.
Nothing will be fine, my friend. I'll tell you 4 reasons why. Oates, Tankard, Conrad, and Nicholas, instead of sitting here with us, having a chat and a laugh, they're just food for crows in some godforsaken hole.
It's not your fault.
It's not your fault they died. Don't blame yourself.
We have to take care of their bodies at least. They were good Christian, even though it didn't always seem that way.
We'll keep the promise we made at Bajenas. The best way to honor their memory is to finish our mission. We'll get inside the castle. You'll see. We'll avenge our lads and go back to Ratai with our heads held high. I promise you that.
Audentes fortuna juvat.
Audentes fortuna juvat.
Food. About bloody time.
All right, so doesn't look like I'm going to get to a save point. As a matter of fact, now that I think we've got a little bit more to go through here, and we're already a little past an hour. So I'm going to go ahead and just stop it here. We'll pick up on the next episode. Thanks to everybody out there that's watching. If you're enjoying the playthrough, the walkthrough, and the tips and tricks, please drop a like and subscribe if you feel the inclined to do so. Hit that bell so you'll get a notification when the next episodes drop and stuff like that. So thanks so much again. Hope you all have a good rest of your day. Take care. We'll talk to you later. Bye.